Hello everyone, and welcome to my reaction and thoughts on the long-awaited Nintendo Direct. I mean, it's been a while since we've had one of these, as opposed to one that's just not focused on one game. Nevertheless, it contains a lot of exciting information there, so let's start unpacking it. We have Fire Emblem Engage, with Yoshiaki Koizumi leading off our ceremonies. He is introducing Special Edition. The game will be out January 20th of next year. Definitely should be an interesting title, and it's definitely not gonna stop from there. So once I have it, I'm gonna keep going. So yeah. All right. So next up, last year's Game of the Year award winner, It Takes Two, is coming to Switch, and it's a native port. Heard from the same developers, who were built upon what they learned from the previous title, A Way Out. And yes, indeed, couch co-op is very much alive in 2022, and it's definitely in my top 10 ones of last year. My actual favorite will be talked about later in this video, among other reasons. So, and gotta say, we plus plenty more to address, so let's keep going. On that note, Fatal Frame Mask of Lunar Eclipse coming to the West for the first time in early 2023. There is currently no date beyond that, but this unique mix of photography and survival horror is definitely has always stood out to me as a series, and definitely should be one to keep an eye on in early 2023. And here we go. Okay, there's some DLC for Xenoblade 3, featuring a new character known as Geno, some plus challenges, and of course, there's also swimwear. Personally, I'm not a big Xenoblade fan, but if you're getting something out of this, I'm not. More power to you. Especially since I have other titles I'm going to be addressing more in this video, so let's keep going. So, SpongeBob Cosmic Shake, getting more details about this as it gets closer to release, following up on the very well-received HGB Master of Battle for Bikini Bottom a few years back. Is another game in that same vein, which definitely sees he's SpongeBob across multiple different time periods, and definitely a big level of advance in the series and collecting on platformers, and especially noticing and liking to see all the different worlds, such like the Wild West areas, and also the Bikini one of the historic times, given a very medic SpongeGar. And yes, and I'm definitely gonna be keeping an eye on this one, and well, here you go. And in another bit of a curveball, we have coming next March, Fist of North Star Fitness Boxing. Look, I have not played the other games in this little series. I mean, for anyone, I do not plan to start with this one. Let's just say, for such a groundbreaking anime and manga franchise, that the video games with the North Star have had a very uneven track record. I mean, in fact, there's only one that really managed to capture the game, managed to capture the spirit of the source material for me. It wasn't even an actual Fist of North Star game. It was God Hand. I mean, thankfully, be playing more chances to address Platinum's output in this video, especially with Babylon's Fall, set to fall next year, and nothing of value was lost. And we also have none other titles that also were a bit of a curveball. Oddballers, a dodgeball-themed party game. I guess I will see where this goes, especially since Knockout City could not really get me interested. Not even with the new TMNT collab, because I definitely know which Turtle game I was definitely going to be enjoying right here. So there's that. Oh, yeah. Another pleasant surprise, Tunic. So we have something of a Zelda-like title, especially knows all similarities to the original Link's Awakening and the 2019 remake. Especially with how you end up basically being adrift on a remote island, and you have to uncover its secrets. And I definitely could see this working. I mean, I mean, given how well it's been received and how it's performed on other systems, as well as on PC, he the question was to me was not if this will come to Switch, but rather when. And even though it doesn't show a date, much like Oddballers I just mentioned, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how this fares on Switch. So let's continue. Okay, so we have an update on Front Mission First and Second. A slight delay of the first two ones where first is always supposed to be out right now, but that's been pushed back over to slightly to November. Second was also going to be this year, but now it's going to be coming in 2023, and they're also planning on working on a remake of Front Mission 3, which was incidentally the first of the games to come to US. So I definitely will be keeping an eye high on all these ones, especially since I think going back to basics was the ideal, one after how badly Front Mission Evolve and especially latest Mouth Left Alive were received. I mean, basically, the former tried to be more action heavy when it's only a turn-based strategy title, while the latter basically was very much like a poor man's Metal Gear with terrible mechanics, visuals that look washed out despite being having Metal Gear's own Yoshi Kawa at her doing the art direction, and enemy AI that range from being almost very lethal and to having like the IQ of a bowl of shaved ice. It's kind of like that. Yeah. Okay, so next summer, Story of Seasons, It's a Wonderful Life. I mean, Guardian Angel and James Stewart not included. Your Life May Vary. This is something of like a remaster / remake of a previous title which actually came out close to 20 years. Here's to its release next year. I'm old enough to remember have played this when it's still under Harvest Moon imprint. I mean, before it was rebranded. And even though the series has lost some of its prominence to who newcomer Stardew Valley, which I looked at earlier this year, this is one of the better installments, and also who would say, apart from the collaborations I had with Doraemon, I'll definitely be keeping an eye on this one, so okay, and let's continue here. And we've got an update already on Splatoon 3, having sold over 3 million copies in Japan alone at launch in its first 3 days. Series best to date. Also, the first #1 launch for the series in the UK. I have not seen any numbers for the US yet, but I would stand to reason they're in that ballpark. Hercules. And also enjoying that the next Splatfest is going to be Desert Island themed. I'm going to be on Team Gear, given how you can find and grub and fun with that, and also liking the arrangements with new shoes, new sweaters, and especially what kind of looks like a grenade hat. And Splatfest will be on the weekend of the 23rd this month, so next week, so be ready for it, especially since I just beat the story mode. I'm going to be trying for 100% completion later, so let's continue. Okay, so in another one of the HD2D style, we have Octopath Traveler and Triangle Strategy being followed up by, funnily enough, next year, Octopath Traveler 2, which will be coming out February 24th next year. Also state, enough Fairbrain Crypto Square Enix, your video game company, make games, people buy and play them. Also using Japanese voices again when I try it. I am not loving the English one so far. And adding to the combination RPG / farming simulator is Fae Farm, especially like a fantasy themed farm sim, which will not be the last one in this video. And even though I have no formal opinion on this stage, once I have more information, I will likely consider keeping an eye on it or even giving it a try. So let's continue. In other titles that Square Enix has a better chance of doing with than in the Air partnership with Oasis, like personally, eco-friendly blockchain is about as feasible to me as like a safe tobacco, but that's personally just me, is Theatrhythm Final Bell line coming soon. There's no official release date for this yet either, but as soon as I play the other titles, I actually am going to enjoy not only playing through Final Fantasy with them style, but also other Square Enix titles, including ones mentioned in this direct. So it's definitely something I'll keep an eye on, and I do not intend to purchase any of their NFTs ever. I mean, I personally prefer my collectibles without the blockchain. Thank you very much there. We've also got an update on Mario plus Rabbids. It Sparks of Hope, which not only reveals more of the characters are going to be in the game, but also more of the weapons and scenarios where the gameplay is going to be sticking relatively close to the first. And also the whole collaboration with Rayman definitely interests me. As someone who even has noticed it's been a while since he's appeared in any game, let alone have one himself. I mean, my question is this still. Now that I have played, the first one, I think it's good, and albeit it's unexpected how it made a dancing bear rather than a platformer or a party game. They made a strategy title like XCOM. Well, was it like lightning in a bottle? Or will lightning strike in the same place twice? I guess we'll find out this October. Alright, so next up we have Room Factory 3 Special, and it's not the first Room Factory title to come to the Switch, or even but it is, what I can gather, one of the best entries in the series, so I definitely think this version should be a welcome addition, and even though it's not my cup of tea, I can definitely understand the appeal, at least from what I've heard about it, especially given how the next one is definitely going to be particularly appealing to me and many others of my generation, so here we go. Okay, so no Game Boy Color, or Game Boy Advance online just yet. However, we do have a pretty substantial amount of stuff coming to N64 online near future, both the rest of this year as well as through 2023. So I definitely am seriously considering re-upping my subscription in the near future because of the following titles: Pilot Wing 64, or Mario Party 1, 2, and 3, and a series that was ruining friendships long before COD entered the space. Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2, so that's basically one of my wish list is off right there. There's no Smash Brothers or Goemon Mystical Ninja just yet, but there is going to be tennis snowboarding, Cyber 64, and the big one, Goldeneye. Much like Advance Wars, whereas apparently this was one of the ones that was just in limbo due to the current situation overseas. Unlike Advance Wars, however, this one I can definitely see myself being playing again, and once it drops. And especially given the current situation, to anyone from the UK, watching this, I wish you all the best in this difficult time. Back on new games, we have out today various Day Live. I just hope it's good. And other titles in this little mini triple shot is Factorio, that could be interesting, and Ib, which looks kind of spooky. I like it, especially with Halloween coming a little bit over a month. And that won't be the only horror centric game I'll be talking about in this video either, so let's press on. We also have this month another contract drop for Mario Strikers Battle League, with Pauline and Diddy Kong joining the cast as the Strikers, and among other content. I mean, And I definitely can say that after Daisy, he dropped just very shortly after they claimed that Nintendo overlooked her. I'm very much glad that this game is out, and even though the Strikers has never been huge among the spin-offs, it definitely has its audience, like moi. Maybe there's elements from like the Spikers spin-off that ultimately never got made on the grounds of the quote violent content, which is kind of interesting given how big a hit this game is, and as well as the other two ones. I won't say much about the story right now, but I will say it's gonna be thrown for loops to be sure. So also coming, on February 24th next year, Atelier Ryza 3, or is that Ryza? I'm already still at a loss. I didn't play the first two, so I don't really have much to add other beyond I will simply state that if you're getting something out of this that I am not, more power to you, especially with what I'm going to be talking about next in this course. Being Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass 3, which is featuring the Merry Mountain from Mario Kart Tour and Peach Garden from Mario Kart DS. The full lineup of courses will likely be revealed before its launch this Christmas, and another potential one for me to re-up my Nintendo online subscription fairly soon. And another update that I've been waiting for is also coming around this season as well. The golf update for Switch Sports is coming. Christmas time was going to be in the fall, but it's been delayed slightly to fine-tune it more. All the courses from Wii Sports Golf are going to be part of this update. And I still prefer the Miis to the sports mates. At least the human ones. And especially since I just can't really imagine myself just even with all the cosmetics designing a sports mate like I would like with my Mii. Like the animal sports mates, however, those might be something. So, but still, I'll probably be considering picking up this game once this update rolls out. So, let's continue. I also have an update from Shigeru Miyamoto about the US with Super Nintendo World coming to Universal Hollywood next year. An update about Pikmin Bloom, which I've not played in a while, but I've been meaning to, just kind of been busy. But another encouraging one for next year, Pikmin 4. After 3 successful titles, we're finally getting a full-on new installment. I think it's kind of crazy how, but still very interesting that we're getting like a full-on new main Pikmin game before we're getting like a new Mario Kart title. So, but it's not the only pleasant surprise in this direct, as it's shown before, and what I'm going to be showing next, talking about filing under the category of they still make these, is Just Dance 2023. At least the BTS music is still kind of catchy. It's coming out it's November 22nd of this year, though I wouldn't be surprised if Eve or anyone else was seeing Scarlet and Violet around that time frame. Well, let's just say that they got their work cut out for them. One and more than one, so onward. So, Harvestella is getting a demo today ahead of its full release on November the 4th. I'm at a loss for words about describing this title. And with that being the case, I certainly hope that it's good, even though I personally do not have much to say about it, especially not compared to what I have to talk about next. And we have more on Bayonetta 3, the third and final game in the trilogy from Platinum Games, released October 28th, just one day after it was initially slated, but still, I can definitely say that it looks like to be another impressive time on Platinum Games, and especially proof that I don't think Babylon's Fall being such a flop is going to impact them too much. I mean, I'll admit they're not infallible as even when working with IPs I do like, such as Core or TMNT, but when their stuff works, it really works. In a way, yeah, I think there's the one silver lining to Clover Studios. I was going belly up in the 2000s that the people involved did not stop making great games, and I hope that they don't for a long time. Okay, so Raincode does not do anything for me, I mean, if I'm being totally honest. As I am not into Danganronpa, and the moment they said that, as well as a similar art style, that basically is something I am going to pass on, simply state that it's coming out next spring if you care. There is something I do care about, that I'll be talking about next though. That's being Resident Evil Village. Even if it is just like a cloud game, and my connections will be pretty stable for the most part, hard on my end at least, it is easily my favorite game in 2021. Even my love for new Pokemon Snap that year as well. And it's also one of, even though it's coming out this October 28th, that's not all. This year we'll also see other recent titles in the series coming to the Switch via cloud versions. RE7 Biohazard, and the recent remakes Resident Evil 2 and 3, which were quite entertaining, especially in the case of 2 and to an extent 3. And heck, I'd even be okay if they wanted to put like the remakes of the second and third I had on the GameCube era. I mean, the first game's remaster has been on there a while, as has RE0, especially since, like, talk about some good Resident Evil content before I talk about some bad RE content for Halloween. Not entirely looking forward to that, to be honest. Adding to the list of games that don't have titles, don't have release dates, are still coming out this year, is Sifu. I've heard very good things about this game so far, and with that being the case, I certainly hope that the game can and succeed on this platform as in others. It's definitely like the whole unique approach to like the beat 'em up and the how it uses age as a mechanic, where and especially applies that to with each defeat or victory, you learn a little bit more about how each encounter is played, and especially quite pleased that this genre making a comeback, especially with the likes of Shredder's Revenge, Streets of Rage 4, is going to homage that time like Final Vengeance. So let's continue, shall we? We also have, on December the 3rd, alongside its launch to other systems, Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII Reunion. Hopefully we'll see the original get released again too, and soon too, in the near future. Out of the many video game-centric spin-offs to Final Fantasy VII, this is probably one of my favorite ones, and I'm glad we see it again. Now, I still reserve the right to say no funging thanks to these NFTs they're trying to sling, and I really hope that if this venture does not work, that Matsuda steps down for it. So, yeah. And another bit of a yes kind of pleasant surprise, we have today the official release of Radiant Silvergun, on which a previously a Japan-only title, among the many ones that have come to States, and previously you basically had to mod your console in order to get it to work, which you have still high risk of breaking it, and also that voids the warranty. So it's definitely a shmup I've been looking forward to, and it was a very pleasant surprise among others. Like, heck, I'm a kind of guy that sees Panzer Dragoon as a cult classic and wasted no time in getting the remaster since it just came on sale. As well, especially since I fixed a lot of the issues I had initially. So here we go. From Sega, next year, we have a roguelike known as Endless Dungeon. I have not played the endless titles, but it has potential, I would say. And I'm just going on a whole slight snippet of information, but I have a slightly more to say about the next game featured in this direct, especially. Okay. And we also have for early next year, Tales of Symphonia Remastered. I think Papa Geno would like that, given how he openly admitted to being a big fan of this game in particular, as well as its protagonist Lloyd. And as a whole, the Tales series may not be on the same kind of pedestal as like Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest or even Chrono, but it definitely has its audience and also very unique in the sphere of action JRPGs. I just hope we don't have a repeat of for future installments what happened with Alicia Gate. You can trust me on that one, it's a bit of a mess. This is a short version. Okay, now we have the lightning round. That is per usual. There's more per video of the direct. Life is Strange Arcadia Beta Collection still coming out on September 27th. Romancing Saga Minstrel Song, okay, December 1st. Lego Brick Tales in the fall. Disney Speedstorm, there's still no release date for Disney's Answer Mario Kart. And Fall Guys Season 2 is going to be starting Thursday on not only Switch but also PlayStation, PC, and Xbox as well. Thank you very much, Epic Games. The second to last title in this direct we have coming next year on February 24th. They're going to have a lot of options that day, it looks like. We have Kirby Return to Dream on Deluxe, a remaster of a beloved title from previously in the series. And I'm also especially liking the whole new mecha copy abilities, which does also immediately make you want a Planet Robobot Deluxe if possible for the near future. And while not every title we've been seeing with this direct has come to fruition, at least yet, the last one should be a small but significant update on a very anticipated game. But definitely not least is an update on the Breath of the Wild sequel, which now has a title, and another ever so slight pushback to its release date, which is why I chose this shirt. It is now known as Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, coming on May 12th of next year. I can definitely say that even though it did not exactly make it to this year as hoped, I think it's not a problem with me given how the last game has a similar 6-year development cycle from initial reveal to final game release. I have heard that whole song and dance of good, a delay game eventually good, rush game, and prefer bad, which has definitely proven to be an adage that has been well worth heeding, given how, let's just say that Splatoon 3 has gone over significantly better than something like, say, the Saints Row reboot, and I don't really have much to add that, just of course I'm not the biggest Saints Row fan, but even if we haven't heard anything about like a Metroid Prime or Wind Waker remasters yet, I can imagine we will if they are still happening very soon, or rather when they start happening very soon. Anyway, that's all for now, and I will definitely see you all again soon. Take care, everyone.